I'm gonna go live.
You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. But Shani, giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can't talk about. Shani, get ready to start the show. You're on with Shani and you know we're gonna talk. Ordinary people and extraordinary God. Check the reference in Ephesians 5. We walking in the light and we're living in love. You know with Shani we gon' keep it intact. Cause every Monday got it coming. Yeah, we come and rock that. So act like you know we get it on and poppin' at the Shani Show. You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. Shani, we're giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can talk about with Shani.
Welcome to another episode of the Sharing with Shani Show. I am your host, Shani. Okay, I'm on gallery view because y'all, I do not like it when I forget to put us on gallery view and it's on speaker view, and then I gotta chop up the recording and it only shows one face. I can't stand that. It just, I cringe. So it's on gallery view. I think we're good. I feel like my red lip is popping today. Eva looking all glamorous, looking like you're giving me Kenya Moore, US Miss USA, like retro, like when she first came on the scene and she had that's what you're giving me, Eva. I love it. I can't wait to talk to you. Eva's a Christian poetry writer, so we're going to get into her book and all of that in a minute. Of course, you know Mika Fresh is in the building as always, rocking the specs. Love your glasses, Mika.
Thank you.
I just want to point
Eva,
out
you don't have to be on mute, by the way.
You
Okay.
don't. Yes, you don't. You do not. You'll
Thank
get a
you, V. Sorry, Brian said Mika hair.
So Mika, guess what I'm drinking in my cup?
What you drinking? That look like hibiscus
Fresh
or something.
Blueberry lemonade.
Ooh.
With real blueberries.
I love it.
No sugar added.
What? I'm super proud right now.
You ought to be, because that.
I got my sizzle.
What is that?
Nope, I probably said something wrong in the wrong language. I have my smoothie. I don't speak Snoop.
Yo, it's Friday. I mean, okay, so it's not Friday. I don't know where I was going with that. It felt like a Friday. I'm real hyped. It is not Friday.
It's all good.
But how you been? How was your week?
Long, like it do feel like it should be Friday again.
Right. Okay, it wasn't just me.
No. It was a long week. I feel like I didn't have a weekend. I have no clue what I did on Saturday at all. It's like I went from Thursday to Sunday. I really don't know what I did on Saturday. Yeah, I really don't know what I did on Saturday. But I don't have any complaints though. I know that. So guess it was good. I don't know. I really don't know. What
Really?
did I do on Saturday?
Well, you working out every day, and the consistency
Mm.
is like I'm feeling it. You're motivating me. I'm gonna get
I'm
out and
trying.
start walking again.
That's really good. Today was a really good day to do that too. It
It
was
was
like
so
almost
beautiful,
70
wasn't it?
degrees.
It was. And I was
Mhm.
so mad that I didn't get out the house until like right before the show.
Okay.
But I was
No.
like, oh my goodness, I should have been out of here.
You were like in your home all day?
Yeah, I worked. It wasn't no
Yeah.
holiday. I
No,
rocked
I
with the president.
mean, do you have like a patio or a balcony or somewhere where you can just,
No, I miss, and
oh, that
I
sucks.
wish I had. No, I'm on the third floor of a
Okay.
very old apartment building turned condominium.
Got you.
Um, but yes, no, it's no balcony. I would love a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
I would love like a little patio.
Right.
Yes. That
Okay.
yeah, so
I'm gonna
add it
add you
to
to my
my
prayer list.
yes, because I only have like two requirements for my house.
Okay, what are they?
Uh, 2 bathrooms
Okay. That's it. You only want two.
at least. I only need two.
I
Like
mean, ask for what you want, like
right.
don't
Well,
downplay it. Don't be
no
like, two. I like, I'll take two, but I really want, tell them what you really want.
2 bathrooms and
Okay.
a refrigerator that makes ice.
The thing about that is those filters, like the cost adds up. Or maybe it's just my refrigerator, but the filter is like $60. I don't know why. I
But
just go buy a bag of ice.
Mika, right? But I like ice makers though. You're spoiling
I
my
hear
dream.
you.
No, I'm
I
just
don't want to. I just want you to understand that it comes at a cost.
really. So how often do you have to
But
change the filter?
mine, I think it says every 45 days.
Get out.
Hmm. Yeah. So I could buy a bag of ice every day and it still be cheaper than the filter. Yeah. So
So
that's what we
so
do. We
I
just
got
buy
an
a big bag of ice.
I got an icebreaker. The oldest daughter bought me an icebreaker, an ice maker for. It was a tabletop ice maker for Mother's
Oh,
Day.
nice. Okay.
Beautiful. But then all of a sudden, everybody likes ice now.
Right. I can relate.
Okay. So
Yes.
my only child was coming out because I didn't want to share the ice maker.
Well, I'm the oldest and I got that issue too. I just,
But
then sharing.
then it started leaking water.
Oh.
Yeah. So we shut that down. I don't know. It was just too much. But
Did you send it back?
no, it was like outside of the warranty. Like it
Okay.
literally started like it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But I know what you mean about all of a sudden everybody like ice though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Nobody likes ice until you refill the ice tray, right? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So how do you remember what our whisper was? Because I'm still on drawing a line in the sand. And
Okay,
then,
that's good though.
but then last week you gave us another one.
Create your own history.
Create your own history. I love that.
So I've been like really stuck in that. I feel like that is my focus for probably until it happens. But it's a prompt, right? It's a prompt. So create your own history is a prompt it was meant to light a fire up under your butt, basically. A lot of us. Okay, so I'm gonna do this thing here. I realized I have, this is gonna be a really nice segue. Okay, I have been really sleeping on myself. I can't hear nothing with these noise cancellation things on. Let me adjust because I'm like clapping my hands and I don't want to be loud and stuff.
Right.
Okay, I'm just halfway off my ear, see if that helps. I have been really sleeping on myself and not paying attention to my accomplishments. I don't keep track. I don't write them down. I don't hang up certificates, thank you plaques, awards, recognitions. Like, don't ask me what's wrong with me. I don't really know. It's not that they're not important. Somehow or another, I think I get like hyper focused on the end goal that I forget all the things that happen, you know, getting to the end goal. So yeah. And my quest for different contracts, you know, different things that I want to do, I started to make a list of the things that I've already done that qualifies me for my ask, right? And I'm looking at this list and I'm like, oh snap, I forgot about that.
Right.
Oh yeah, I did do that. Oh, yo, I forgot I had that job. So
Right.
I have really been doing what I want to do now without realizing that I was doing it. I think because it felt different, right? It didn't, I don't know, it didn't fit some weird sort of picture that I created in my mind, but it was already happening. That's crazy. And so
I was going to say, do you think it is because, you know, as Christians, we are kind of like conditioned to stay humble, right? Like you don't, all these
well, you
things.
know my take on that. Humble, humility, and modesty are not the same.
They're not.
I just literally don't include myself when I am bragging on other people, when I'm giving accolades, when I'm remembering accomplishments. I don't know what that's about, that, but it ain't cool though. I know that. Like,
right.
What is that? So I'm gonna work on that. I'm definitely gonna work on that.
And I definitely think, like, I agree. I think humility and modesty are two different things. But I also think that, you know, I think there's a time and a place to kind of say what you to say what you've done.
It is.
I don't know.
And even when that time and place is like now, I still find myself like, you know, moving away, shrinking, something. I don't know what that is, but I promise y'all I'm gonna figure it out though.
Yeah.
Because it's not okay.
So when Snoop Dogg got his Walk of Hollywood Fame award, right? He gave his speech, right? So he was like, he basically went down the list. He thanked God, he thanked his mama, he thanked Warren G, he thanked Dr. Dre, right? Then he said, then at the end, he was like, and I like to thank myself.
To thank me. Yeah.
I like to thank me.
Like about that.
I like to thank me for putting in this hard work. I like to thank me for not giving up on myself. Because, and sometimes, I don't know about you, but you know, you can have all the support in the world, right? And I have a good support system. I'm not knocking them. They come on every Monday night. Right,
and on time, right?
And on time, like from the homie to my sister. I think I saw my sister on there, Nicole. Like, I have a support system, but sometimes late in the midnight hour, when it's just you and your creator, like, you gotta speak a word over yourself to keep going. And I think we got to remember those moments. We have to remember those moments when we could have given up, right? But we kept going, right? I think I shared with you the Bev Smith interview. Did I share it with you, or did I share it with somebody else that might look like
No,
you?
I think you did. Not somebody that looked like me. I believe you did.
Because she was talking about playing the long game, right? She was talking about playing the long game, and she was like,
I feel like you did.
I think I did. But she was saying that, you know, she was working for this fashion magazine, making a good coin.
No,
right?
You didn't. No, you didn't.
I did not. I'm about to share it with you when we get off the line, because if I'm about to mess up and not be able to get myself back to the comments. But basically, she talks about playing the long game, how she left her good cushion job, was grinding for like 4 years before she got Fashion Queens. And Fashion Queens put her on the map, right? It was like the little special that would come on after every awards ceremony, and she would talk about the fashion, right? And now, and she was telling that story because now, 7 years later, if she can say yes and no to jobs, she can go have lunch, she can do a podcast, she has freedom to create the life in which she wants to, and have the financial freedom to do so, right? But had she given up in year 4, she wouldn't be at year 7. And if you are a faithful person, and if you know scripture, and if you know God, everybody know what 7 is. So, I mean, that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Okay.
But for those that don't know, 7 is the number for completion.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I always tell people, like, if you don't get through the night, morning don't come. So
say that again, Mika. Tweet that.
If you don't get through the night, morning doesn't come. And it's the truth, though. We always be like, oh my God, what is the next day? When is the next day? Well, can you get through this day first?
That part.
And I don't want anybody to ever think that my life is perfect and it's so easy, and all these things that I do, they come so easily, and I love it all the time, every single moment. And, I just like, yay. No, not even a little bit.
Right.
Gratitude plays a really big part, and understanding how principality works plays the next part.
What?
I completely understand my role in all of this and what is required of me. I'm just required to run the race. Because spoiler alert, I win, but I can't win if I don't run.
That's another tweet.
It really is, that's the simplicity of it. It's really no need to make it hard, right? Like, it's not a difficult thing. Now, does it always feel good? No. But like, running in general doesn't feel good, so it is what it is, right? This is really how I make decisions. Do I get what I want at the end of it? Yes. Then do it. Okay. That's it.
Right.
It's no, I'm on the fence, no double dutching, like none of that. I literally do just ask, do I get what I want at the end? Then do it. Because why not?
Exactly.
Like, what's the alternative?
Hello.
We have these like super thoughts sometimes. We overanalyze and overthink things. I remember when I was, I don't know, probably like 23, 24, I was working this job and I had tuition reimbursement. And one of my coworkers didn't want to do it, because you have to do like 2 years. Every time you get a reimbursement, you have to give them 2 years, right? So if you got a 4-year degree, 2 times 4 is what? 8. So you owe them 8 years, right? So I remember my coworker saying like, I don't know if I want to be here in 8 years. And like 10 years later, they were still there. And I was like, don't you wish you would have did it? Because, like, you wouldn't owe all this money. Exactly. And it's just one of those things when you think you have it all figured out before you even start. And I just don't believe that that's possible because I'm not the writer. So I just don't know. And I just feel like, as faithful as a person as I really truly am, like, this is not just when I jump on the show at 8:00. I really am a person of faith.
Yeah.
And I'm really talking to God like,
All the
Okay,
time.
because you had said it, right? Like I remember I had read that one scripture that one time. I remember it said
Right.
that I win. Like
Exactly.
I know I saw that a couple of times.
Yeah.
So right, like this
Right.
is actually how I talk to God.
Yeah.
So it just some things just make sense to me, even when they don't make sense.
Right.
Can't give
Absolutely.
up. Yeah.
You can't give up.
So we're gonna bring all that back to what I was saying. The create your own history is a prompt for me to really do the things that I desire to do, which is create legacy, right? Which is history. And thinking about all those different things, like I said, I was creating my one sheet and going through a lot of my accomplishments and just really forgetting, just I didn't take the moment to celebrate it. I didn't like laminate it in my head that Mika, you did that. And not only did you do it, like you succeeded, you killed it, because that's all I know how to do, right? It's a spirit of excellence.
Right.
We don't do anything halfway. And so, and understanding that, it was definitely a motivator, but it was also encouraging.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, I'm back, I'm focused, and I'm going to get out of my own way, which is tonight's whisper. Are you in your own way?
Ooh.
Because we like to blame people a lot. Like, I love how you say you have a good support system, because a lot of us do like to complain, oh, nobody is supporting me.
But I was going back and forth on social media a couple weeks ago about, well, what quantifies as support? Because a lot of people want to assume
Buying stuff.
that like support means that like the people that you know are your customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized a long time ago that my circle is not my ideal client,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need them to pay. I don't need, no, I'm not coaching them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being no admin for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they're not, so my circle is not my ideal client, but support can look different. And I was thinking back, Mika, I think I was sharing this last week when I was talking about going, like when I was first doing speaking engagements and I was traveling all over, and I went to this sundown town, right?
Yeah.
Right. But what I didn't say is, like, back then, like 7 years ago, I couldn't even get a rental car in my name. My credit was so bad, right?
Right.
So my brother-in-law got my rental cars every single time I had to go out of town. That's support, right?
Yes.
My sister took my kids to school, right? That was
That's
support,
definitely support.
right? I had another girlfriend, didn't even have, I was like, I can pay you back when I get there. She bought the books. She bought 100 books for me to go to the speaking engagement just so I can have a table.
Right.
That's what support looks like. It don't necessarily mean that they gotta be on social media and be doing this and all of that. My support is behind the scenes, and that's what you need. You need a dream team behind the scenes.
Social media has polluted our ideals.
Yes.
And it's no other way to say it. We are so zeroed into thinking that social media is the only, a lot of us don't even know how to promote our business outside of social media.
Talk about it.
Right. And like, honestly, I think it's made us lazy. And the truth of it is it really doesn't work as well as you think it does.
Right.
Right. Like it's not king when we're talking about marketing. It still isn't. There's still other marketing mediums that are better than social media.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's made a lot of us lazy.
Word of mouth is still working for me. I just want you to know.
It does. It really does.
Word of mouth is still working for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Eva in here because
let's go, Eva.
So welcome Eva to the show. she told me how to pronounce her last name, and I forgot it that quick because I got so excited because I was reading her bio. A passionate Christian writer, creative writer with a special interest in Christian poetry. We're going to talk about her book in a minute. Has a bachelor's in business management from Southern Adventist University in Tennessee. Executive admin personnel, but for the last 5 years, she's been doing a thing in the blogging world.
We'll give her a moment. She frozen for you too?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me. How do you pronounce your last name?
Aning.
Aning. Okay, cool. So she'll jump back in. Tell me what your blog is about. Tell the listeners what your blog is about.
Yes. So my blog it's called Book of Eve. And
Okay.
At bookofeve.org.
And
And it's about faith and art. And so I wanted to help people rediscover their faith. So people that have lost faith.
Okay.
Through using art as well as a tool.
Like visual art?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my blog.
Nice.
I love it. Thank you for coming in with, my janky Wi-Fi.
I mean, co-host, right?
Exactly. And I was all in. I was like, I had energy. And then I hear Mika say, is she frozen for you too? How do you pronounce her? How do you pronounce your last name? So I guess the last part you heard was, I forgot how to pronounce your last name. That's the last part you heard.
She had to blog for 5 years. That was the last part.
Okay. But yeah, you've been blogging under the blog name Book of Eve. But I came in at the tail end, Eva, when you were saying, can you just repeat what you were saying, like why you started the blog?
Yeah, so I can talk about why. So I've always wanted to start a blog. To be honest, I've loved writing for as long as I know, but I just thought, I don't know if you guys ever got that talk before, but my parents told me that it wasn't something that will make me money. So I had to, look forward to college. And so I put the blogging thing aside. But, I still had the passion for it and still wanted to start a blog. So Book of Eve was really just like my journey through faith, like my struggles, the ups and downs. And so, for me anyway, I, at one point in my life, did lose faith in God and did feel like, there was no real relationship there. And so Book of Eve was like me finding that faith again. And so I wanted to help others rediscover their faith through art, which was something I was also passionate about. So
I love it. I love
That's
it.
nice.
When I was telling you before we came on live that, this whole thing started with a blog, right? Started with a blog after the death of my daughter. I started writing this blog and I was mad at God. So my blog was spicy, right? But in that, it was called Sharing My Mess Becomes a Message. But in all of that, I was finding God. I was redefining the God of my youth. Somehow I didn't know who that God was. And I had to figure out who God was for myself, not through the lens of my mother, not through my grandmother or my grandfather or the praying aunts and uncles beside me. But for me, I needed to find how God saved me, right? Like that's that. And my motivation was, I didn't want people to wake up in their mid-30s thinking they went to church every Sunday and didn't know God. Like that was my true purpose. And then, so it all started with the blog. So when you said that, I was so excited, and thinking about how it's come full circle, because I started, last Thursday, I started blogging again, but in this time in the form of a newsletter, but it's the same thing. But I'm like, I'm back again doing what got me here, because I feel like that's where God is telling me to go. So
I could definitely relate to everything you said. You know, that's where I was too. I felt a lot of emotions, but definitely not happy with it. But wanted to figure it out, you know, for myself because, you know, I felt like I didn't really know what this whole faith and God thing was about. I felt like, you know, I grew up that way. I was raised in the church, but still felt lost within all of that. And so, yeah.
Mm. I wonder why that is. Like, why do we grow up in church but still feel this disconnect? And either one of you can answer that.
For me personally, I think it is I feel like our you know, our salvation is kind of, I want to choose words very carefully. I think my relationship with the creator is a spectrum, right? Like it starts at one end and there's just all these places in between, but I feel like it's supposed to happen that way. You know, your intelligence, your understanding, your experiences are all very different when, you know, you're not of age versus coming of age. And so because of that, then I believe that you have to rediscover and reclaim, reposition, reimagine what the creator is for you in the new time. It's not, I don't believe that it's supposed to be the same, right? So you said the God of your youth was not the God of your, you know, your mid-30s. And I don't think he was supposed to be, right? Think about what we wasn't concerned about stuff when we were children. I know I wasn't. I don't know about y'all. You know, it was don't get sunburned. I used to sunburn very easily. That was probably my biggest worry. Don't get sunburned and don't get on my mama's nerves, right? Go outside, have some fun, find my friends, play outside. I was the most playing outside child ever. You know, go to the Boys and Girls Club, swim as much as you can, because when are you going to get in the pool again? Like I wasn't concerned about where I was going to spend eternity because I just assumed it was going to be heaven, right? I was saved. I got saved at 10. I was saved. That's it. Easy, right? No, that's not the end of it. If you live past 10, right? Like that wasn't the end of it. So I feel like we have these different experiences so that we can see the different sides of the creator, because he's, you know, he's not just one way. You're on mute. Personal, that's totally just how I look at it and have reckoned with it. And you know, I'm also very flexible, so I'm open to change as it changes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's I think we all get stuck at some point at the beginning of the journey and hard to see past that. But you know, just to add to the conversation, I was just listening to some video on Instagram and they were talking about like the unity, you know, the body of the church and how if one person is not there, you know, it makes a difference, you know.
Yeah, it does.
So it just also made me thought about just representation. I think a lot of times within the church, you know, everybody wants to just hide behind the veil a lot of times and not really show themselves like what they're interested in, you know, who they are. And so sometimes like as a young person, you know, growing up in the church, you don't really get to see, you know, the beauty, let's say, the, you know, the art, you know, side of God, the creator side of God within other people. You know, you just see, go to church, you pray, you know, and that's kind of it. And, you know, but I feel like as a young person, I wanted that, you know, I wanted to see other people's struggles, other people's ups and downs so that I can feel like I related, you know, and also I can feel like maybe I'm also seen, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, so I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, this is good. So tell us about Green Pastures chapbook. What
That sounds so peaceful.
It does. I want to know where you get chapbook from, because I was.
Yeah, well, I knew I wanted to do a poetry book. but I was looking at, there's different types apparently out there. So the chapbook is if you add pictures,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it a chapbook. And I knew I did wanted to add pictures, and so I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll call it a chapbook then. But yeah, I just Googled it. So
Okay. All right. And what made you want to why poetry? Is that just like your first love of writing style, or like what prompted you to go the poetry route?
Yeah, definitely first love. I didn't really know what poetry was at all, so I started off writing in journals. Since I was young, that was the beginning of my, I guess, process. And then I got to high school, and I think it was American literature where they introduced poetry. And so I was like, whoa, this is new. It kind of freaked me out because I'm originally born in Ghana. And so when I came to the States, I was in English class most of the time because, I can really speak the English well. And so I also felt like because I couldn't speak the English that well, that being a writer was just not possible for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got introduced to poetry, I was like, oh, this is like an expressive type of way of writing. This was different. And so I immediately kind of, it attached itself to me because, I could relate. And also I didn't feel the pressure to have all the grammar and all the, all that stuff right. I could just express myself freely within that. And so that's where I discovered poetry. And then it became like my main thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do you consider yourself a spoken word artist, or you just strictly on paper?
Strictly on paper.
Okay. All right.
I
So
haven't.
I love, Eva, the I guess the blurb that is found on where you can on your Amazon link, where it says, perhaps it's time to be meditative with a poetic collection that will remind you of, and then it gives 4 things: to be thankful for what you have, that with Jesus, you're standing on a sure foundation, that no evil shall befall you in your triumph. And even in danger, victory is sure because your losses will be restored in full. And I mean, all of that just makes you want to go purchase. I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now. But can you just share just a little bit of some of the things that you've been through that prompted you to say, look, I didn't see Danger Girl. I always think about like when I see, I don't know, for some reason, I think of Ghost, and I know this is probably this movie is probably
Ghost was
way too
when
old.
I discovered it. Nah,
No,
I was like 11 when I discovered it, and I watched it every other day that summer.
But Eva's probably way too young. She's probably younger than both of us.
It's Ghost. It's like a classic, though.
Yes, but okay, Eva, have you seen Ghost?
Yeah.
You have?
See?
I feel so old. But so when Whoopi tells Demi, you in danger, girl. Like how and so I want to know, like, what have you been in danger of when you knew that that God was your green pasture? Because I love the title too. It just is a reminder of the psalm.
Yes. So I mean I can talk a little bit about the title too, because that has its own meaning. But so Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd. That verse, I've been reading it since I was, a kid. My first time in Bible study classes, and that was like the main. You had to have that memorized, down packed. So I've always been familiar with the verse and everything. But there was a specific line that says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. And for a very long time, I always interpreted it as, that God was going to give me this abundance of green pastures. And wherever I go, it was just going to be like lilies and butterflies and that's what I thought. And so I was kind of disappointed when life kind of dealt me with different cards where I wasn't really finding those green pastures.
Mm-hmm.
I was really finding that abundance that I was looking for within that verse. And so there was like a gathering one time at like a church family's home, and someone brought it up and was saying that they also, were thought it was this way, but they came to find out that green pastures wasn't just an abundance of something, but shepherds would lead sheep to green pastures, even under rocks. So, pretty much saying that a green pasture doesn't necessarily have to be an abundance, but it's really just enough. It's really just a filling, something that fills you up in that moment. So, it kind of changed my perspective a little bit. Um, and it hit me pretty hard because, I was like, man, I could have been overlooking so many of the little things in my life that were giving me and feeding me and making me, helping me to be filled up. But I was, expecting something bigger. I was expecting something, I don't know, grand, that I was missing all these other little things that were also grand and were also filling me. And so that was kind of, the concept of putting, making that the title, because, within all of my poems, they're Christian. It's Christian poetry specifically because they all kind of speak on my journey with Christ, and that journey has been one that I feel, at times I felt empty. At times I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed. I wasn't getting that abundance. But here comes God giving me that assurance. Here comes God giving me the little things. Whether it's a prayer for the night, whether it's even being a seed. I talk about seeds in the book as well. Me planting a little seed, and God coming in to make it bigger than, what I initially thought it was. And so, yeah, so it was just me just switching my perspective to not just looking for lavish things, but also appreciating the little things in my life that were blessings.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. I think we always have to be reminded of the details, the small details, right? We want this big, grandiose, like God moment, but God is in every little detail. So I'm going old school again. It's like the cotton commercial, the fabric of our lives. That commercial was so
The touch,
it touched,
the
right?
feel
That
of
right
cotton.
of cotton. That's how God is,
That's so
right? Like, is that good? That is good. I gotta write that down.
good.
But that's how it is, like,
Yeah.
right? And that's why people connected with that commercial, because they could, like, that's how, like, oh my goodness, right?
I think this is also, this is the importance of gratitude, because if you're not grateful, people, I get teased a lot, right? Because I'm really simplistic and what excites me. When I think about the creator, it's very simple for me to get excited, because I think about, there's a song, what's those people's name? they done put out like 55 songs last year alone.
What? It's a gospel song, a gospel group?
Dante Bo is a part of it. Yeah, it's a gospel song.
Maverick City?
The song is, say it again.
Maverick City? No.
Yes, thank you. And then
Who
there's
is it?
another one, something collective. What is it? Elevate Collective.
Elevator.
Forgive me. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
It's like a blend of these like mega groups, and then my homegirl Doe is in it. But the song is called Breathe. Breathe.
Oh, yes.
Because it's a miracle that we can breathe, right? I feel, y'all know the words? Y'all don't know the song? Oh man, I love this song.
Can you sing it for
It's a simple song, right? It's a really simple song. It's called Breathe because it's a miracle we can breathe. And he says, I can feel it in my lungs. I feel the oxygen. Let's see. What'd you say the name of the group was?
Maverick City?
Thank you. Yes. So it's featuring Doe, Jonathan McReynolds. I think it's one other person, but it's here we go. I had to pull up the lyrics because I don't know them all by heart. But this goes out to the worried. This goes out to the stress, sorting out a million thoughts running through your head. To everyone that's waiting for better days ahead, tired and frustrated and living, once I say, please don't hold your breath. Just breathe, because it's a miracle we can breathe. There's power in the way that we breathe. Release your heavy burden and let everything that has breath praise the Lord. This is why we have breath. Praise the Lord. And the song just kind of goes on into different things, right? When he said, just breathe, it's a miracle we can breathe. So, y'all know I'm nerdy. And something that I love doing is studying, just how the body works, because I'm amazed by it. I really, truly am. I'm amazed by it. We like to be amazed, but I like watching nature shows, stuff like that. So, a bumblebee, right? Like bees, honeybees, bumblebees, all them bees, they are not supposed to be able to fly because their body's so heavy and their wings are so small. And butterflies, how can they fly? Because their wings are like not even millimeters thick, just all this stuff. And people are just like amazed. Oh, the butterfly was a caterpillar and look at what happened. And I'm like, yeah, but look at me. And not me as a like Mika, but just the human and the systems and all the things that work for us every single day. Because while I am, yes, amazed, at a butterfly or a caterpillar that became a butterfly and a bumblebee that can fly and it shouldn't, and a platypus and all these different things. One thing, kind of knocks them off their system, they're done. But like we get broken bones, we get collapsed lungs, we are missing body parts sometimes when we're born and all this, and we can still thrive and flourish and live a very complete, full, exciting, contentful life. And so that is what I'm amazed by, because outside of that, just understanding the power of choice and our brains and what we are and are not aware of, and we continue anyway, right? That to me, yes, is absolutely a miracle. But when you understand what goes on when you breathe, then yeah, you think it's a miracle that you can breathe too. Right. So gratitude, is important, because when you don't have gratitude, even if God gives you these lavish things, you can't appreciate it because you have no gratitude, right? And so then you become addicted to wanting more and more, because even that doesn't satisfy you, because you have no gratitude. So, the foundation for me for peace and contentment is having gratitude. Otherwise, I don't even know what I have. I don't even know, that I have this lavish gift, because I'm not grateful. I don't get it, right? I didn't practice gratitude, and I feel like it's owed to me.
Yes, I agree. I can remember, this was years ago. It was so cold in here in the DMV. We went through like at least a 7-day where, and I think a few homeless people were actually, we lost them because it was so cold, right? And I remember pumping gas one night and how cold it was, and just looking at my hands that had gloves on there, and just having, like, at the gas station, like having this praise party at the fact that I had gloves, right? Like that's how good, like I'm like, God, I thank you, Lord Jesus, for these gloves. And then
Absolutely.
I went into like a praise party in the car because my car had heat. Because I don't know, pause. I remember being in college having a car, having a little hoopty with no heat in my car or air. So I just want you to know, like, I mean, I have experienced it. I was having like this Paul moment when he talks about, I have little and I have had a lot. I have lacked And right. And like in that moment of just thanking God for just small things. Right. And this was like back around the time when I was still blogging, and I wrote this blog about just like flowing through my heart is gratefulness. Right. Like that song. Right. Like, and just because I literally could have gotten like frostbite in my hand, in my fingers. That's how cold it was. And I heard that it only takes like 10 minutes to get frostbitten.
I experienced that this cold snap that we had. Yeah.
It don't take that long.
No, I know now. But I know now. My hands were swollen for like 24 hours. For real. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna lose my pinky. Like, this is a thing.
Really?
So yeah. And even in that, like you said, yeah, there was a thought, right? I'm thinking like I'm, brushing the snow off my car, no gloves on, just making dumb decisions. But anyway, just being even grateful, right? In that moment that, okay, my hands are cold. It's not going to last long. I'm about to sit in the heated car. I'm about to get in a car to go somewhere in the cold, right? Not walking. I have a house. I have shelter. I have heat. I have gas in my car. Like I have all these things, even though it's like 12 degrees outside right now. Yes, being just the spirit of gratitude, I think will get you so very far.
Gosh, yes.
But I also feel like it is a language that touches the creator's heart. And when you touch someone's heart, they want to do more for you. Like even us dirty humans, selfish humans, mean, evil, deceitful, spiteful humans. When we touch someone's heart, we want to do more. Like think about your children and your loved ones. You know what I mean? Like you can be real mad at them and they do something that touches your heart, or they say something that touches your heart. All of that other stuff goes out the window, and you just want to do for them. You want to, do something that puts a smile on their face, that brings joy to their heart. So it's so I think it's twofold. Practicing gratitude is twofold. It's a win-win situation. Just why not do it some more? You can never do it enough. Do it some more.
Eva, before we go, this has been such a great conversation. I put the link to purchase the book in the chat, but where can people get in contact with you if they want to know more, if they want you to write them a wedding poem or a graduation poem, or because it's so many ways. Yes.
Do you read excerpts speaking, and all that stuff?
All of that. Where can people get in contact with you?
College, coffee houses. This is what I used to do at Marymount. Yes. I used to help bring these people. No, it's a real thing. Like
it's a whole thing. Yes.
It was not a lot of folks that look like you. So,
I hear you, and I'm stepping into it. God has led me here. So, I've been stepping into all of this.
Go on. Step and sit,
Step.
But yeah, I am available. I'm open to receiving new clients for blog posts, articles, poetry. So you can reach out to me at hello@evaaning.com. That's my email. I can put it in the chat as well. Of course, I'm on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. So eva.aning is my Instagram handle.
Spell your last name.
Aning. So I just put my email in the chat here. So please feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, I'm open. This is where my blogging journey has brought me. It made me an author, and now I am providing my services to kind of use whatever God has been working in me. So that's where I'm at. And also I'm on Facebook as well, Eva Aning Writes. So that's EVAANING Writes on Facebook. So,
Awesome. Thank you. And our wellness whisper for today is, are you in your own way? And so I thank you, Mika, for coming on. Mika's going to be our guest, and we're going to talk about, she's going to be a special guest coming up too. Yep, that's right. Because we got to create our own story and our own history.
Absolutely.
And so
I'm excited. Do I look excited? I'm excited. I've been working on
it. We said that at the same time. The Sharing with Shani Show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. Come hang out with us next Monday, the last Monday of Black History Month. We're going to talk to Crystal Ellis Kendrick, fashion designer and making big moves in the industry. So
you haven't had a lot of fashion folks on. This ought to be fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody can come on. I mean, Sharing with Shani Show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God. That's all their requirement is needed.
That's it, y'all.
Come on, y'all. Come on and visit us. Thank you, guys. See you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.